Hey YouTube, Wisconsin Shoe Guy here. And today I wanted to talk to you about styles of shoes that I think look good in shell cordovan. Shell cordovan, as most people know, is the membrane that is below the rump of a horse. So it's not a true leather. And because it's not a leather, it doesn't have the same creasing qualities that you would see with leather. So what do I mean by that? Here's an example. When the leather has a crease area, instead of having these small micro creases in the leather, they'll actually just roll, and so you get these distinctive roll patterns in the shoes, but they don't crease the same way like a leather would. They also, because they don't have a porous structure, the shoes age differently. So this is a pair of shoes that I've worn pretty well. I mean, the sole's almost worn out completely, and they're probably 12 years old. So they do pretty well, and they look really good. So they last forever. They have great wear properties, and some really cool things. You can lighten them in the sun, so you can really play with color. You can really make the shoes your own. So some really nice things there with it. So I picked out a selection of my shoes that are in shell cordovan. I have 9 pairs. So if you're not ready to spend that much time, I apologize in advance, and you can just kind of zip through it, or just skip to the end, and I'll do a quick summary. But the first pattern that I really like, and this is a pair of Aldens. This is the 2201. This is the split toe derby. Okay, so it's a derby. It has the piece that touches the laces actually goes all the way to the back of the shoe back here. This particular pair has a nice heel cap on it, and you can see that they have this gorgeous pattern hand sewn into the shoe. You can again see the rolls on there. Now these are more new than the other pair that I showed. These are only a couple years old. You can see that they have this traditional Alden stitch in the back there. But this split toe derby is a good, in my opinion, is a good shoe to show the shell cordovan off. I think it is a classic shoe, and yet it's distinctive when you have the contrast stitches in here that really makes the leather pop. And I feel like this gives a good platform because of the way that the leather, or excuse me, the membrane creases or doesn't crease. It just looks good on this particular style of shoe. Now, another shoe that I think is very, very classic for this is a long wing blucher. So this is actually a very old shoe. This is a 1960s Florsheim Imperial 93605, and probably needs a good cleaning again. But very, very classic pattern. Well designed to really show off this pattern, this leather membrane, and does a really good job. This is a chunky design, usually has a double sole. Looks really good with this. Now, sometimes you want something that's got some broguing, and the broguing looks really good on this leather as well. But you want something that's a little slicker, single sole, far dressier. This is your standard semi-brogue. Also looks really good. If you like the cap toe, and even if you want to be able to put a little shine on it, this material will take a little bit of a shine, but you don't really have to wax it in the traditional way that you would your other shoes. Shell cordovan will have this shine naturally. So I think that's important to note. And then if you really want to bring the shine out, you can put a little bit of high shine gloss on it, and bring it out that way. So, but it's not something that you would polish in the traditional sense. You just put conditioner and you brush it. That's the MAC method, and pretty common. So now, outside of a semi-brogue and your traditional full brogue or long wing brogue, I like the way this looks in a monk strap. This is a single monk strap. I happen to like the single monk strap better than double, but that's a classic opinion. And I think that this looks really, really good. This also, if you make this a little bit higher, this is going to resemble very similar to a chukka, which I also think will look really, really good in this kind of leather. So again, it shows off especially with a plain toe, I feel like the plain toe shoes really show off this leather very, very well. So that's, certainly something that I like, but there's a lot of variety available in these shoes. So you've got to really decide what you want. So speaking of plain toe, this is a different color cordovan. So the shoes I showed before, the last two were brown. I showed a black pair and I showed a burgundy pair. Burgundy is probably the most common color you'll see in addition to black. And this is what they call natural shell cordovan, and a really nice bit of variety there as well. Um, and these are Carminas, and I really like the way that these work with the shell fabric, and I feel like this also shows off that roll really well, and is a great platform to be able to wear it. Now those are rubber soles. Most of my shell shoes do not have rubber soles, so I have that pair with a rubber sole, and then I have a pair of boots, which is very similar to the semi-brogue that I showed before. But these have the brogue and the medallion on the cap, but the rest of the shoe is plain, and that can make it a little bit more formal. This is also an Oxford, which is less common for a boot. So this is something that I would very comfortably wear with a suit. And I feel like, now this particular color of shell cordovan is called marbled. I bought this from Alan Edmonds, and they actually had an event that they called this shaved shell cordovan. And I can see why they say that, because it really does look like somebody came and changed the color with a razor. But it's a very nice, very different, very unique color. And this style of boot, which is the Fifth Street, is a very solid example of what you can do with shell. Now, the other thing that I like with shell cordovan is the Adelaide. Now, this is a plain toe Adelaide with a medallion, and it's call it an Adelaide because of this U throat here. And this is a bourbon shell, so a different color still. I have the contrast welt, and I put a double sole on this, although this and a split reverse welt. Normally, this shoe does not come with a double sole or a split reverse welt, so that was just something that I had done for it. But it is a very, very unique shoe. Has a little bit of spotting on it. Needs a good cleaning. One of the guys that I know from Facebook and Instagram has recommended using a new product for this, which is Pure Polish waterproof shoe cream. So I'm actually going to try it with this pair, see how it comes out. So I will do a video on that as well. So, but you can see that I left the water spotting on there. And, I've had that problem with when I use Severe Renifatur on the shoes. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how that works. And if it does, then I need to buy a lot of it in different colors, because as you see, I have quite a few others. So again, this is the black shell, and this is a loafer. A lot of people really like shell for loafers because it is a more casual leather. I view it as being dressy enough to use for suiting, but it is considered a less formal leather than your typical calfskin. So, not like Chrome XL or suede or one of the casual leathers, but this is definitely less formal. And so it does really go well with your less formal shoes, like a slip-on, like a monk strap, like a loafer, and does provide that thing. Now you notice that I've got about half derbies and half Oxfords, and so I clearly like it in both. It is a traditional derby fabric, so something to keep in mind. Anyway, this is Wisconsin Shoe Guy. Thank you for watching, and as I promised for those before, I would do a quick summary at the end. So ideas for great patterns of shoes that you can do in shell cordovan. You have your split toe derby, you have your cap toe Oxford, you have your semi brogue, you have your monk strap, you have your medallion cap toe boot, okay? which is an Oxford boot. You have your long wing, the long wing brogue. You have your loafer. You have your plain toe blucher. Or last but not least, you have your Adelaide. And I think that this looks just fantastic with a plain toe Adelaide, although it is something that I've been strongly considering having a made to order done in a cap toe Adelaide as well. So this is Wisconsin Shoe Guy. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm out.